On our 5th anniversary, Theo sent another woman a $70,000 necklace and gave me 2 books. I was abroad settling business when he texted me asking for a divorce. I agreed calmly. The night Theo swaggered into the gala with the heiress he was so proud of, he saw me, surrounded by every financial titan in the room, walking toward the seat of highest honor. That evening, Theo and I lay in bed researching vacation spots when his phone rang. He glanced at the screen, pushed my head off his shoulder, and slipped out to take the call. I thought nothing of it and kept scrolling for somewhere perfect for 2 workaholics. By the time I was half asleep, he came back. Groggy, I mumbled. What took so long? He muttered, client. Pain in the ass. And I wound my arms around his neck, tucked myself into the warm hollow under his jaw, and dropped off. I woke to an empty house. He'd already left for Rongchuang. He'd promised to clear his slate in 48 hours so we could fly off together. Bored, I shopped online, fielded 2 calls from my assistants, lined up Titan's next moves, then dialed him. Theo, what time are you off? I'll pick you up. Jules, I'm sorry. The new deal is huge. The client wants me on it 24/7. I can't hand it off. Vacation might have to evaporate. Disappointment stabbed. This would have been my first real break in years, and my workload dwarfs his. Still, I tried. Is it really that critical? Which deal? I could send someone to shadow it. His voice went cold. Jules, we agreed. No poking around in each other's business. I went quiet. For 5 years, from dating to marriage, we've never once crashed the other's company events. It was Theo's rule, and I'd liked the symmetry. Fine. Work comes first. Just finish it soon. Yeah. I'll be late, don't wait up. After he hung up, the letdown crept in and sat on my chest. Whatever, 2 alphas, 2 addictions to the chase. I rattled around the penthouse. Theo's hours got later and later. Too restless to vacation, I hosted a string of Zoom meetings that left Titan's analysts trembling. For our anniversary, I planned a surprise. Theo produced one of his own. After yet another midnight homecoming, I fished a velvet box from his briefcase. Inside, a pink diamond pendant. The receipt read $70K. Not outrageous, but the first time he'd ever spent real money on me. I tucked everything back, giddy for morning. I hired a private chef, laid out a 7-course French dinner, and had my assistant raid Titan's cellar for $1,000,000 Bordeaux, then waited in a wine-red gown. Theo walked in just before 10, stared at the candles and crystal, and smacked his forehead. Ah, Jules, I forgot our anniversary. My smile almost cracked. I'd stayed silent all day, certain he'd remembered, especially after last night. He shed his jacket, pulled out my chair, overflowing with apologies. I rearranged my face into something sweet. It's fine. I know you're swamped. Sit, eat. I slid the glass toward him, graceful, regal. Try it, picked for you. For a second he looked enchanted, eyes half-masked. I actually blushed. Nice wine, he said, swirling it without checking the label. I teased. So, did my husband bring me a present? He grinned, all fond indulgence. Of course. Been in my bag for days. He strode to the hallway. I smiled, touched my bare throat, heart drumming. He turned around holding 2 books. * Corporate Finance * and Value Creation in the Real Economy, First English editions. I froze. They're signed by Professor Sterling himself, our idol, a pioneer of modern finance. Theo glowed. My brain blue-screened while he raved about the author, the marginalia, the legacy. I stared at the familiar signature on the title page and clenched the Ferrari key I'd meant to give him. He disappeared into the study to call some analyst. Our anniversary fizzled out. I lay awake imagining that pink pendant while Theo talked for 2 hours. When he finally slipped under the sheet, he was snoring in minutes. I'd expected heat. I got hollow confusion. Next morning he was gone again. Nothing could hold my attention. I replayed the past months. Theo treating me the same, yet not quite. My phone rang. The caller ID settled me. Dr. Sterling, I answered. Julie, how's life? His voice was cultured velvet. Couldn't be better. You. Splendid, but I still want you back. You've exiled yourself for love. Is it worth it? Don't tease, you Nobel shortlister. Show some gravitas. You vanished for romance. Does marriage truly outweigh 900 billion in climate tech? I laughed, then caught myself. At Yale I'd never listed marriage as a KPI. Back in Manhattan it had somehow become a box checkbox. Because of Theo? Hope your choices make you happy, he said. Soon I'll need Titan's due diligence muscle on my new fund. Done. You graduated years ago. Call me Bryce, friends don't professor each other. When I see you, I'll say it to your face. Looking forward. The call steadied me. Domestic markets are saturated. My 3 lieutenants can read my mind. Time to surface. 11 p.m., still no Theo. 3 calls, no answer. On impulse, I grabbed the Ferrari key and headed to Rongchuang's Sapphire Tower. Only a few lights on, his floor dark. I rang Logan. Off-site karaoke, he slurred. Theo's half gone, Juliet. Want to swoop in? Text me the address. I fishtailed across town, the Ferrari snarling outside Olympus. I stalked down the corridor to the open door Logan indicated. Inside, 20-somethings swayed to autotune. Theo lolled on the banquette, a Chanel-clad blonde pressed to his side, brushing her breasts against his arm as she whispered. He grinned back. Logan spotted me. Hey, Juliet, why are you just standing? And she actually elbowed Theo while she said it. Theo glanced toward the door. When he saw it was me, the smile slid off his face. I walked in smiling and sat down on his other side. What are you doing here? His voice was ice-cold, distant, so unfamiliar it made me wonder if I'd ever really known him. Logan said you'd had too much to drink. I came to pick you up. Theo shot Logan a glare of pure annoyance. Logan just rubbed his nose with a lazy grin. Juliet, what can I get you to drink? Nothing, thanks. And you are? I looked at the girl still pressed to Theo's side. The young woman smiled at me and extended a hand. Hi, I'm Fiona, Theo's client. My eyes narrowed into a measuring slit, then froze on the pink diamond necklace at her throat. When I didn't take her hand, Fiona's smile turned sweeter. She lifted her manicured fingers and casually stroked the stones. Every instinct told me it was a challenge. Around the private room, the junior bankers whispered. So that's Juliet, first time I've seen her. Same here, 3 years and never a sighting. Marriage on the rocks, maybe? Theo never bothered to introduce me. Logan caught the awkwardness and clapped his hands. Past midnight, people. We've got markets tomorrow. Fi, I'll drop you. Juliet, you and Theo head home. Theo pressed his lips together, silent. Fiona gazed at him like a kitten being taken from its warm basket. He gave her a soft smile. Ellis. Then, face hard, he said to me. Let's go. Logan left first with Fiona. After Theo settled the bill, we all spilled onto the sidewalk. Since he hadn't introduced me, I skipped the small talk and strode straight to my Ferrari. Gasps rose behind me. Holy, Juliet's ride is insane. That's the new mag cover limited drop, right? Blows Sterling Howard's Bentley out of the water. Theo hadn't expected the Scarlet Beast either. He said quick goodbyes and climbed in. Whose car did you borrow? He asked the second the door shut. A friend's. I didn't tell him I'd bought it, or that I'd bought it for him. Next morning he took the Ferrari. I texted Logan to ask if business was really crazy busy, as Theo claimed. Logan, who worked for me first and Theo second, didn't hold back. Juliet, the new deal is with Sterling Howard, 2-month timeline, no rush. Foster, so Fiona is? The Sterling Howard princess, back from Yale, genius resume. She's the liaison to Rongchuang and camps in Theo's office daily. I spun a pen between my fingers, eyes blank. Has he mentioned anything about our vacation? Theo? Not a word. As a silent partner, Logan only wired money, but he still haunted the office. Got it. For the first time I felt I didn't know Theo at all. So the trip was canceled for Sterling Howard. That afternoon I called Titan, pulled my best analysts, and formed a dedicated due diligence squad to take over Dr. Sterling's climate fund. Work was the only thing that could untangle my head. Love had become deadweight. At 8 p.m. Theo still wasn't home. The custom app on my phone pinged a new trip. I opened it. 5 invisible lenses relayed a crystal live feed from inside the Ferrari. Not for spying, just elegance. Theo drove one-handed. Beside him sat a perfectly done-up Fiona in black Chanel, body angled toward him, chatting non-stop. They looked like honeymooners. When she curled her hand through his arm, he didn't flinch. I stared until the screen blurred, then called my assistant and booked a first-class seat to Manhattan for the next morning. Have the Ferrari collected from the garage at Rongchuang and parked in Titan's basement, I added. Dennis hesitated. Yes, boss. Immersed in Dr. Sterling's prospectus. I forgot the hour until Theo walked in at 11. We didn't speak. Keys are on the counter, I said. I'm flying out tomorrow. I thought you were on vacation, he snapped. I took vacation for our anniversary. It's over, so the vacation is too. You're pissed at me? I told you this deal is critical. They asked for me personally. You know we're still pre-IPO. I don't know. Didn't we agree never to discuss work? I answered coldly. My fault. When this closes we'll travel, okay? He sighed as though I were a sulking child. No need. You might have time, I don't. My job is busy too. Doing what, exactly? That little firm of yours? Contempt laced his voice. Oh, you know my company. I asked, curious now. I visited once before we married, checked again a couple of years ago. It's fine, but boutique. I remembered. Before Titan opened its Midtown office, I'd spent 2 weeks helping a junior classmate pivot her startup. She'd refused to change course. Theo had picked me up one night while my car was in the shop. Apparently he thought I still worked there. That company had missed its window and fizzled into obscurity. Yep, tiny, I said, laughing outright. Theo caught the sarcasm, stormed off to the guest bath, and slept in the spare room. I packed without a shred of regret and caught the dawn flight. In New York, the schedule was jammed. I hit the ground running with Dr. Sterling's task force. Titan's floor buzzed. Every analyst pushed harder once the founder walked in. I'd sketched Titan during my Yale SWM days. 3 years later, we'd seeded 1,500 deals and turned a 15 million starter pledge into 900 billion assets. Dr. Sterling preened like a peacock at having me back, a sharp contrast to the day he'd slid my first term paper across the seminar table and asked whether I'd matriculated with or without a brain. The fund targeted planetary scale carbon reversal, profits plus survival. After 72 sleepless hours, we wrapped the second phase due diligence. The scientists hugged, hollering like traders at market close. Amid the euphoria, my phone vibrated. Juliet, let's get divorced. 5 years under the same roof, and I'd never seen him coming. I shook my head helplessly as Dr. Sterling walked over, a wineglass in hand. Julie, your team is incredible, he said, genuine admiration in his voice. No, it's your deal that's incredible. I can't even imagine the sensation it's going to cause. Julie, why do I get the feeling you're not happy? Ge munter hudreed ge dud. Nothing much. I'm just getting divorced, I answered, as if it were trivial. What? Really? I almost heard a little leap of joy in his tone. Julie, you're serious? That man is divorcing you? Does he have any idea what he's about to lose? Dr. Sterling, love really does slow down my draw, classic meme. Huh, you're right, Julie. I'm taking this deal back to the States. I stared at him. Not a flicker of joking showed in his eyes. You're sure? Absolutely. Even though it's for the whole planet, I still want it to launch from my homeland. Looking at his resolve, I suddenly found my own heartbreak ridiculous. I clinked my glass against his and offered my sincere blessing. Dr. Sterling, Dennis, my assistant at Titan headquarters, and I flew home with every project file and the prototype core chip. Dr. Sterling went straight to Titan Hudson, the sprawling tech park that holds our tallest offices, our private park, every amenity my introverted engineers could ever need. I, meanwhile, went back to the house. It was empty. Theo was either working overtime or with Fiona. I hadn't even set my suitcase down when my phone pinged. A friend request from Fiona. Speak of the devil. I accepted, and though she stayed silent, I took the hint and opened her Instagram. Her latest posts were pure lovesick college girl. Theo was in every one. Theo cooking, Theo mid-zoom, Theo behind the wheel, 2 entwined hands. The captions all sang the same tune. She'd bagged her longtime crush and had never been happier. I snorted. It still hurt. 5 years, from the accidental reunion to his pursuit to the simple courthouse wedding. No parents involved. His rarely appeared, which suited me fine. I screenshot every frame that held Theo and sent them to him and to his parents. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., City Hall Marriage Bureau. Theo rang at once. I picked up. Jules, you're back. Jules, let's talk. I don't want you thinking I cheated. Fiona and I haven't gone that far. Oh, fine. Since we're divorcing, let's settle the ledger. I arrived at the cafe he'd chosen. He was already there, looking haggard. Jules, have you eaten? Staring at that familiar face, I remembered the past 5 years. How we'd shared every meal, every pillow, every dawn and midnight. I exhaled. Say what you came to say. His phone rang. From the murmur, I recognized Mrs. Mother's voice. Theo frowned, muttered later, and hung up. You told Mom? He demanded, displeased. Of course. We're divorcing. I'm not letting her think it's my fault. Jules, there's no need for this. I don't want to hold you back. We can still be family. Spare me. That word is nauseating coming from you. 5 years, and this is what it amounts to. Jules, I'm sorry, but I love Fiona. I don't want to hurt her, or waste your time. Exactly. 10 tomorrow. Anything else? In my dictionary, affection is never begged for. Jules, you're always so rational. I almost wish you'd throw a fit, cling to me like a real woman. You met me yesterday. True. That's why Fiona dazzles me. She may act girlish, but she's brilliant, a Yale prodigy. Talking markets with her enlightens me. Yet that same genius will tear up just because I cook for her. She's amazing. Stop. You're shallow. And this Yale prodigy, does she happen to know me? Jules, I know you went there too, but she honestly doesn't. Hilarious. Neither do I recall any prodigy by that name. You claim her intellect captivates you, yet you never bothered to learn mine. Do you even know what I can do? Jules, you're smart, sure, but you and Fiona aren't even in the same league. I laughed in disbelief. I never realized how vain you are. You hid it well. His face darkened. I knew him. If Fiona weren't the Sterling Howard heiress, he'd sneer at her ambitions just as he once sneered at mine, convinced I was merely some startup grunt. Jules, keep the house, my apology. We kept separate accounts, but if you need cash, name it. Theo. I regarded him with Arctic calm. Jules, anytime you need help, call. You have no family, and, I hope you'll understand, when you love someone you want the world to know. Fine. 10 o'clock. Don't be late. I walked out. He didn't call me back. I sped the Ferrari onto the highway, windows down, heart racing. Angry? Heartbroken? Both. Women, it seems, are wired to feel. I'd never hidden my strength. He simply kept cutting me off. No shop talk at home, Jules. When we cross that door, it's just us. Even expenses were split. Yet who restocked the coffee, the towels, the life we shared? I drove, memories flooding, until my phone buzzed, Mrs. Mother. Auntie. Silence hummed for a long second. Juliet, Theo wronged you. His dad and I stayed quiet. Your life, your business, but I know our son failed you. I seldom interfered, yet I always knew you're a good wife. Whatever you need, come to us. We're still your elders, your family, always. All right. She started to say more. I ended the call, tears finally spilling. Back at Titan Hudson, I decided to stay. The executive hotel's top floor holds 2 penthouses, mine and Dr. Sterling's. Hearing my arrival, he opened his door. Julie, he stopped, striding closer. You've been crying. He lifted a hand toward my cheek. I sidestepped. Small stuff. Handled. You're Theo. Tomorrow I sign the papers. About time. He isn't fit to carry your briefcase. Why you ever chose him is beyond me. I had no answer. Maybe he once felt like home. I shook my head. I'm turning in. Anything you need, ask Dennis. He heads this site. I'm coming with you tomorrow, Dr. Sterling said, voice low and certain. I stood there for a second. No need. This is my own business. With that I turned and walked back to my room. I had a faint inkling of what Dr. Sterling was feeling, but I told myself I was being narcissistic. He was a true genius, a man who preached lifelong bachelorhood and found joy only in knowledge. I slept heavily the whole night. The next morning I arrived at the City Hall Marriage Bureau, right on time. The moment I got there I spotted Theo's car. He climbed out and came straight toward me. But before he reached my side another door opened, and Fiona stepped out. She lounged against the fender and looked our way. Theo, can't bear to be apart? Planning to remarry the second, we're divorced. Jules, we have a deal to discuss later. I didn't bring her on purpose. Oh, really? I think she absolutely came on purpose. I pulled out my phone and flicked to the messages Fiona had sent me the night before. Juliet, stop wasting your time. Tau lovet me. I hope you'll sign the papers quickly. The one who isn't loved is the real mistress. What I give Dylan you could never give him in your life. There were also several photos, all intimate shots of Theo beside her. Theo's face went scary dark, his eyebrows knitting together. When she saw me show him the screen, Fiona tensed on the spot, her smile evaporating. In the end, Theo said nothing. Jules, she's still emotionally immature, always afraid I'll leave her, no sense of security. Don't blame her, it won't happen again. I gave a soft snort of contempt and walked into the bureau. The paperwork was quick. The moment the divorce certificate was in my hand, Theo looked as if a weight had lifted. He spouted a string of comforting words while I kept my face blank and headed for the exit. Just then Fiona came skipping over. Dylan, all done? She hooked her arm through his. Theo nodded, and the two of them laughed like they were alone in the world, but remembering the texts she'd sent me, he wiped the grin away and turned to me. Jules, if you ever need anything, come to me. I'll help. Before I could answer, a Global Edition Maybach barreled toward us so fast it felt ready to mow us down. It screeched to a halt 5 meters away. Theo stared at the 20 million yuan flagship. The 2 ultra-luxury cars parked at the curb turned every passerby's head. Out stepped Dr. Sterling in a bespoke suit polished down to his heels. The couple beside me went from puzzled to thunderstruck in seconds. Professor. Fiona squealed. Oh my God, is that really you, Professor Bryce? Dr. Sterling stopped, glanced coldly at the starstruck woman, then, ignoring them both, said to me, All finished? I told you I'd come with you. Why didn't you call me? The other two stood slack-jawed. I gave a helpless nod. It's done. Let's go, I drove. I walked to my Ferrari. Dr. Sterling climbed back into the Maybach. The two supercars pulled away one after the other, leaving Theo and Fiona nailed to the pavement for a good long while before they finally left. When I reached the office, I learned that Dennis, the top traitor I'd groomed, had already spoken with the government. They were stunned that Analyte American PhD wanted to bring the deal home. Officials came twice, each delegation higher ranking than the last. Titan would host a Tier 1 chamber meeting on Dr. Sterling's behalf, with full government participation. A Tier 1 chamber session is convened by the topmost financial groups, bodies that can sway markets and make final policy calls. The gathering would publicly unveil the project and serve as a patriotic offensive. Every major finance house received an invitation. Even Theo's firm got one. Only later did I discover my assistant Dennis had demanded it. Let that cheating jerk see exactly what caliber of woman he lost, he'd fumed, making me laugh. While we were preparing the chamber session, Fiona kept messaging, asking why Dr. Sterling was with me. I got bored and blocked her. Then Theo actually texted, begging me to introduce him to Dr. Sterling. Hilarious, blocked as well. Suddenly the two of them seemed perfect for each other. During this period, an unexpected caller rang. Theo's partner Logan. Juliet. Logan, what's up? So you and Dylan really divorced? Yes. Sorry, Juliet. I should have stopped them at the start. Not your fault. And Logan, don't tell Theo about the things I did for your company. I don't want any more contact with him. It's exhausting. I don't know how powerful you are, but I know you're not the minor clerk Dylan claimed. I know you're formidable. Indeed I am. Theo simply has no eye for value. I chuckled. It was the first time he'd heard me speak that way, and it loosened him up. That Fiona, she's Foster Howard's only daughter, a genuine blue-blood heiress, but honestly some of her calls are so off the wall, I can't believe Dylan buys her genius analyst image. How did she even market that? So she went to Yale, big deal. I laughed softly. Logan's a trust fund kid. While Theo's father is a hospital chief and his mother a university professor, they couldn't cough up tens of millions overnight at the seed stage, so Theo's college pal Logan stepped in. The two are like brothers, splitting dividends while Logan stays hands-off, and Theo treats him well. Solid partnership. Logan, let me tell you something. Keep it from Theo. My lips are sealed, Mrs. Juliet. Stop calling me Juliet. My name is Juliet. Sure. Rowan, then. Fine. Have you heard of Titan? Of course, who hasn't? Listed in New York, headquarters in the States, Hudson campus right here. I've been. The whole industrial park plus 2 private helipads. Insane. Sometimes we helicopter in for early deal access. See? Extravagant. Wait, how do you know that, Rowan? You work there. I'm Titan's executive managing partner. I founded Titan while I was still at Yale. Silence. Then a shaky voice. Rowan, you're not suffering depression from the divorce, are you? Logan, my name is Juliet. Juliet. Holy, you're sweet? The owner of Titan. Remember to keep the secret. Why, yes, ma'am. Anything you need, I'm your man. I hung up and couldn't help laughing softly. Half a month later, the chamber gathering opened on schedule. Industry titans showed up in force. A government motorcade brought several officials I'd only seen on television, along with renowned academicians. Titan footed the multi-million-dollar bill for the event. Dr. Sterling began polishing his keynote while Dennis, my HQ assistant, shadowed him every step. Dennis also runs Titan's Hudson office, handling every mainland deal for me. We entered the hall early, before most guests arrived. Jules, what are you doing here? I turned and saw Theo and Fiona. Fiona was still dressed head to toe in immaculate Chanel, her arm threaded through Theo's. They were flaunting their bliss right here at the Titan annual gala. I didn't bother acknowledging them. Instead, I scanned the room, running a final mental checklist. I trusted my team completely, but with government officials and Nobel-tier economists in attendance, I watched every detail twice. Emery, what are you doing here? Fiona asked, sugar-sweet and sharpening her blade. Does it concern you? I shot back, eyeing them both with deliberate disdain. Jules, this crowd is full of Apex Capital sharks. Watch your step, Theo added, suddenly the worried ex-husband. I swept a contemptuous look over the man I'd lived with for 5 years. My taste in men had been spectacularly garbage. A broad-shouldered middle-aged man walked in, assistant in tow. Fiona spotted him and cooed, Dad. Foster's gaze fixed on the couple as they approached, his eyes raking over the man his daughter was clutching. Sterling Howard, Theo greeted deferential. I hear you're dating my daughter. We haven't talked. You finished cleaning up the mess at home? Theo threw an awkward glance my way. Yes, I'm single now. Every syllable Foster uttered carried patriarchal weight. Good. I won't have Phi smeared by gossip. I'm no dinosaur. If you're serious, I won't interfere. Jamie. Taylor. Foster's eyes flicked to me, filled with top-floor arrogance. I stared back unimpressed. Then Dennis hurried past. Foster's expression flipped like a switch. The hauteur vanished, replaced by fawning eagerness. Cameron, congratulations. Word is your deal this time is cosmic. Dennis frowned. Sterling Howard's Foster? Yes. We cooperated once. I was hoping you could introduce me inside today's circle. Hardly necessary. Sterling Howard speaks loudly enough on its own, Dennis replied, an edge of scorn in his voice, but Foster missed it completely, waving modestly. I just hung up from Dr. Sterling when Dennis stepped over, bending slightly. Boss, time to prep. I rose and left the hall, Dennis half-jogging behind. Foster and Theo stayed frozen, mouths open. I caught Foster's disbelieving mutter. What? That woman is Cameron's boss. Moments later the auditorium filled, seats assigned by net worth altitude. Front row government mandarins and Nobel laureates, second row centimillionaires, third row plain billionaires. Foster landed in row 4. Theo and Fiona were banished to the rear. Flanked by Titan's senior partners, Dr. Sterling and I entered from the side. Head swiveled. Theo saw his ex-wife gliding toward the prime center seat, ringed by the most powerful people in American finance. His eyes bulged, jaw slack, comic strip shock. Fiona glared, hatred etched in every line of her face as she took in Dr. Sterling beside me. Dennis opened the program. Good afternoon. You all know why this summit matters. To underline its weight, Titan's managing partner will kick us off. Please welcome Juliet. Applause rolled. I walked on stage. Holographic towers rendered Titan's global footprint in midair behind me. Good afternoon. I'm Juliet, possibly unfamiliar, though some of you know me as Julie. The crowd erupted. During my Yale SWM years, my adoptive parents provided seed capital for what became Titan. Under the guidance of my mentor, Professor Bryce Sterling, it has grown into the firm you see today. I won't boast, this room bulges with industry giants and pioneers. The purpose of this summit is bigger than any of us. A project meant to benefit every human on Earth. For 10 years my mentor has labored toward this moment. They call him a pathfinder. Today I finally understand why. He insists this initiative should launch from our homeland, so Titan is bringing him, and his breakthrough, home. Let's welcome Dr. Sterling to outline the mission. The hologram shifted to Titan's Climate Tech campus, while Dr. Sterling took the lectern. Government officials wiped away tears as he spoke. By the time he finished, the entire hall was on its feet. In 15 minutes we locked in pledges totaling $9 trillion, several times our original target, not for profit, but to win the technology race for the country. The 2-day summit ran like a machine. When the closing gavel fell, success was total. Theo cornered me as the crowd dispersed. Fiona was nowhere in sight. Jules, you never once told me you own Titan. I looked at him with pure disdain. You set the rule. Zero involvement in each other's work. You wouldn't even let me attend your annual cocktail hour. Why exactly should I have volunteered? Regret swam in his eyes. If I'd known how powerful you are, I never would have. Spare me. Remember how you raved about Fiona the Yale prodigy? Dr. Sterling strolled up. I beamed at him. Professor, does Yale happen to have a wunderkind named Fiona? He pretended to think. No. I know every Chinese graduate, and when it comes to prodigies, Jules, you're it. Theo's face darkened. In that instant he grasped how absurd he had looked singing the praises of an undergrad to the woman who quietly bankrolled his dreams, and then signing divorce papers for her. Remorse cracked his expression, but I was past caring. Dr. Sterling's hand settled at my waist. Let's go, Julie. Tonight's victory toast is waiting. Hardly mine, it belongs to the Pathfinder. Theo remembered the 2 first-edition finance textbooks he had given me on our 5th anniversary, books authored by the very man now leading me away. What had I thought while I unwrapped that gift? He would never know. Arm in arm, Dr. Sterling and I left Theo hunched under the weight of his own stupidity. The evening gala spilled across 3 rooftop terraces, crystal chandeliers competing with the Manhattan skyline. On the quietest balcony, Dr. Sterling found me and passed a flute of champagne. Still thinking about Theo? Not for a second. I'm thinking about the Pathfinder, I said, smiling at the moon. His eyes glittered. Are you thinking about me? Nope, just the phrase Pathfinder. You could think about me, you know. You understand what I'm saying, Julie. You're my professor. I'm 6 years older. Do you find me ancient? He sounded like a puppy denied a treat. I brushed a lock of hair off his forehead. I wear armor now. I no longer need a weak spot. He exhaled, gaze on the sky. Julie, never settle for less than everything you want. I never do. Pop! Fireworks burst overhead, a glittering epilogue. This wasn't an ending, it was ignition. We touched glasses. To the future. To the Pathfinder. We smiled at each other, because knowledge is the rocket fuel of tomorrow, and Pathfinders are the river that keeps the human current rushing, white-hot and unstoppable. Thank you for listening. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate tonight's story? If you enjoyed it, like and share with friends. We'd love to see your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales. See you next time.